Hiroshima vanished in seconds, but Japan's high command refused to believe it. One general called it impossible physics, another insisted the Americans were bluffing with conventional bombs. Only one man realized the truth, and what he said changed everything. When Tokyo finally understood what had happened, their reaction wasn't what anyone expected. What was spoken in that room would determine millions of lives. But before anything, they had to face an unthinkable reality: their city was gone. August 6, 1945. Morning. Hiroshima went silent. Not quiet, completely gone from all communication. In Tokyo, Japan's high command sat in confusion. The first reports came in: something catastrophic had happened to Hiroshima, but no one knew what. The phone lines were dead. Radio broadcasts had stopped. Military bases weren't responding. General Anami read a new report, his face motionless, but his hands trembling. One word appeared over and over: flash. A blinding white flash that lit the sky, and then nothing. Some claimed the city was burning, others said it no longer existed. Confused and divided, the generals didn't know which report to trust. But one officer already suspected the horrifying truth, and the thought chilled him more than any battle ever had. They gathered in the war room, surrounded by maps. Hiroshima should have been alive with 350,000 people, factories, and military command posts. Now, only silence remained. General Kawabe, head of intelligence, spoke first. He claimed the Americans had dropped a new type of bomb but didn't specify what kind. The others demanded answers: how many planes, how much damage? Kawabe's reply stunned them: one plane, one bomb, one city, gone. The room fell silent. No one could accept it: destroying a city with a single bomb was unthinkable. General Anami slammed his fist on the table, calling it American propaganda meant to force Japan's surrender. Then another report arrived, from a pilot who had flown over Hiroshima 3 hours after the blast. What he saw made him physically sick. His shaky handwriting described a mushroom-shaped cloud rising 40,000 feet into the air. Beneath it, nothing. Hiroshima was gone, replaced by fire and smoke spreading for miles. He said he could see the glow from 150 miles away, like the sun had fallen to earth. General Torishiro read the report 3 times, his expression darkening. He knew of Japan's own atomic research, small and incomplete, but he understood the theory. If America had succeeded first, everything changed: every plan, every hope, every strategy. Still, General Anami refused to accept it. He ordered a team to investigate the city firsthand. The investigators boarded a train toward Hiroshima, but 30 miles out, the tracks ended: melted, twisted metal. They continued on foot, climbing a hill overlooking the valley where Hiroshima once stood. But instead of a city, they saw only ruins, smoke, and ash. One officer lifted his binoculars and looked toward what used to be downtown. There were no buildings, no bridges, only rivers filled with bodies. Slowly, he lowered the binoculars, unable to speak. The officer's hands trembled as he tried to explain what he had seen, his voice barely above a whisper. A radio message was sent to Tokyo, just 4 devastating words: the city is gone. When General Anami read it, he crushed the paper in his fist, refusing to believe. But when the scientists arrived, the truth could no longer be denied. Tokyo's top nuclear physicist, Dr. Yoshio Nishina, entered the war room. Calm and precise, he reviewed the reports: the flash, the mushroom cloud, the complete annihilation, the strange burns survivors described. His verdict was final: this was an atomic bomb. No doubt. The room exploded with disbelief. Generals shouted that it was impossible, that no nation could possess such a weapon. But Nishina explained the science: splitting atoms, chain reactions, energy equal to 15,000 tons of TNT unleashed from a single bomb. General Kawabe asked the question everyone feared: how many do they have? Nishina shook his head. He didn't know. But if America could build one, they could build more. Slowly, the implications sank in. If the US had more atomic bombs, they could erase Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, every major Japanese city, with nothing to stop them. No defenses, no counterattack, no hope. Finally, General Anami broke the silence. "We continue fighting," he said. The word stunned everyone. A single bomb had erased an entire city, yet he still wanted to fight on. He explained his reasoning. Yes, the bomb was terrible, yes, it changed warfare forever, but Japan's honor, he argued, mattered more than survival. To surrender meant shame, occupation, and the end of the emperor's divine status. Better to die fighting than live in disgrace. Half the generals agreed, the rest stayed silent, thinking of their families, their children, their cities full of civilians. Then, just 3 days later, August 9th, another report arrived. Another city gone. Nagasaki. Another atomic bomb. Another mushroom cloud. Another 40,000 lives lost in seconds. The debate was over. America wasn't bluffing, they had more bombs and they were willing to use them. That same night, Emperor Hirohito did something no emperor had ever done before, he intervened directly in military decisions. His voice, calm yet filled with sorrow, carried divine authority. On August 10th, his words broke through the chaos in the war room, "We must bear the unbearable." In Japanese culture, the emperor's words were sacred, commands from the heavens themselves. When he spoke those words, everyone understood. Surrender was no longer a choice. It was the only way to save what remained of Japan. Not out of fear, but out of responsibility, to protect what remained of Japan and to save the lives of those who still survived, the emperor chose the path of surrender. General Anami bowed his head, overruled and outvoted by the emperor himself. Yet before stepping aside, he made one final statement: the military had not lost, and Japan had not been defeated. They were overcome by a weapon that threatened the existence of all humankind. The next day, August 11th, Japan sent a message to the United States: they would surrender, but only if the emperor could remain as head of state. America accepted. The war was over. But for General Anami, the story did not end there. What he did next became one of history's darkest and most tragic moments. On the night of August 14, 1945, Anami sat alone in his office. He wrote a final letter, his handwriting calm and deliberate. In it, he apologized to the emperor, for failing to protect Japan, for failing to win, and for surviving when so many others had died. When he finished, he performed seppuku, the ritual suicide of the samurai. He could not live with surrender, nor bear the weight of dishonor. His death came to symbolize the end of the old Japan, an era fading into history. 6 days later, on August 20th, the Japanese High Command issued its final official statement about Hiroshima. They called the atomic bomb a weapon beyond human morality. They were right. The atomic bomb changed everything: warfare, politics, and the future of humanity itself. It all began with that single flash over Hiroshima. When Japan's high command finally understood what had happened, they didn't just lose a war, they witnessed the birth of a new age, one where a single bomb could erase entire cities and end civilization. The leadership's reaction to Hiroshima transformed history forever, moving from disbelief and denial to devastating acceptance. Their response forced impossible decisions, revealing men trapped between honor and survival. In the end, what Japan's leaders said after Hiroshima led to surrender. The emperor's decision ended the war. That final war council, faced with humanity's darkest creation, proved one truth: one bomb, one choice, everything changed.